All right, I've written the formula down already just because I want to save you time because um, you're finding, if you were finding the midpoint coordinates, you would average the x coordinates of point 1 and 2 and average the y coordinates of point 1 and 2. But we're not doing that right now. What we're doing is we've got an endpoint, we've got the midpoint, and we're looking for the coordinates of the other endpoint. So we're going to fill in what we know, okay? So we're going to say um, x and y, we know the coordinates of the midpoint to be 5, comma, -8. They tell us this in the problem, okay? And that's equal to, and we're going to sub in values here. We're going to sub in the first point's values. We're going to say parentheses, let's say this is point number 1. So we've got x1 and y1, okay? So then we will sub in, for x1 we will say 5 plus x2 over 2, comma, and now we're going to sub in the y coordinates for that first point. And sorry, there was a little glitch there. Plus y2 divided by 2, okay? And as we talked about in class, we now need to separate it, and we need to set these equations, like we need to set this first part equal to the x coordinate and this second part equal to the y coordinate. And I'm going to do it separately down here on the bottom. I'm going to draw a little line here, and let's just say, okay, and we will write the coordinate of x, and I'll do this pink, 5 is equal to 5 plus x2 over 2. Okay, I need to multiply both sides by 2 to clear that fractional part. And I always write, when I'm multiplying both sides, I write the multiplier as like 2 out front and everything that was on both sides in parentheses. So this goes in parentheses, all of this goes in parentheses, okay? And when we simplify that out, we get 10 is equal to 5 plus x squared. And then when we subtract 5, we get 5 is equal to the x coordinate of 0.2. Got it? That's what that means. Okay. Let's draw a little line to separate that. And let's do the next one in purple. So we're going to take now the y coordinate over here, this y coordinate of the midpoint, which was -8. And we're going to say -8 is equal to -15 plus y2 all over 2. And we have to do the same thing. We say 2 times the left side equals 2 times the entire right side. And when we simplify that, we get -16 is equal to, remember, the whole point of this is for this 2 to cancel out this 2, right? This is divided by 2, and the inverse operation is times 2, so those cancel out. And they leave you with -15 plus y2. And then what we need to do, add 15 to both sides. And we get -1 is equal to the y coordinate of point number 2. So then we will have as an answer for the coordinates of point S, S is 5, comma, -1. And let me just verify that answer. Number 17 in the book. Looks great. Okay, got a couple more of these. We're going to do these quickly. Okay, so we're going to start with the first basic equation, that equation that the midpoint in x and y equals the average of the x coordinates and y coordinates of the 2 points, the endpoints. Okay, we know that the midpoint is at 5, comma, -8. They tell us that in the problem, and then they say one of the points is at -2, 8. So we say, okay, we're going to put that in parentheses, and we say This is point number 1. So that's x1 and y1. So then we can substitute in x1 with -2 plus x2 over 2, comma, we can sub in y1 with what it's equal to, 8. Plus y2 over 2. And now we are going to separate this into pieces in order to set them equal to the two parts. Okay, so let's draw our line. And our first part is going to be the x-coordinate, 5, is equal to -2 plus x2 divided by 2. Okay, and we'll multiply both sides by 2. Writing everything exactly the same inside the parentheses as it was on each side. And then we've got 10 is equal to plus x2. Okay, and now we just say plus 2 plus 2. We get 12 is equal to the x-coordinate of point number 2. And draw a line, separate this, and do the same thing for the y-coordinate, which is -8. And that's equal to 8 plus y2 over 2. Multiply both sides by 2. And we get -16 equals 8 plus y2. And subtracting 8, we get -24 is equal to the y-coordinate of point number 2. So then what we have as a point for the coordinates of S has coordinates of 12, comma, -24. And let me verify that that's correct. Yep, we've got one more. Okay, so here's our formula, and we're going to sub in what we know. We know the midpoint coordinates are 5, -8. And we know, we'll call this point number 1. So that's x1 and y1. And therefore, we've got for x1, say parentheses, 4.5 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, we know y1 to be -2.5 plus y2 over 2. And this is where we got to break it apart. So we're going to draw a line here. Okay. And say 5 is equal to 4.5 plus x2 divided by 2. So multiplying both sides by 5. Sorry about that. And you get 10 is equal to 4.5 plus x2. Subtracting 4.5. We get 5.5 is the coordinate x for the second point. And put a dividing line here. Do it again for y. -8. Y coordinate of the midpoint is equal to -2.5 plus y2, all divided by 2. So then we say 2 parentheses -8 is equal to 2 parentheses negative 2.5 plus y2 all over 2. And of course, in case I didn't make it clear, the whole point of multiplying by 2 each time is for this and this to undo each other and cancel out. Okay, so we get negative 16 equals negative 2.5 plus y2. And when we add 2.5, we get negative 13.5, oops, is the y coordinate of point number 2, giving us for S coordinates of 5.5, comma, negative 13.5. And just verifying it with the book. Yep, looks good. That's how you